What is going on, everybody? It is Giants Nick back here with the first video in a while, and this one is going to be the first one of a part of a 32-part series, free agency, post-free agency team previews. This is pre-draft, before the NFL draft. But before we get into it, please consider subscribing to the channel. Like the vid. I appreciate all the love. Comment your takes, what you like, what you don't like. Let me know how you feel, and we'll get into it. So today I'm going to be going over the first of my 32 teams in the preview, and you can guess by my name what team I'm going to go first. The Giants. Okay, so the Giants are a very interesting team coming into this year. First off, I will say, the Giants had a bad record last year. They did. They were 6-10, but they were one game away from a playoff berth. And I know the division was bad, and don't expect the division to be that bad again this upcoming season. So there's a lot of things that the Giants did well this season, in my opinion. I think, we're going to go over the free agency signings and whatnot. But first off, I think they finally put Daniel Jones in a situation where he can do some damage. We'll see what happens, but they did a lot to sort of shore up his weapons. Now, his line is still a question mark. No one's denying that. And by the way, for all these videos, I'm going to be brutally honest. Okay, I'm going to not be biased as much as possible because I try to actually be pretty unbiased with these sort of things. So we're going to start and we're going to continue with the Giants. So Daniel Jones is the first big part of the Giants. It kind of seems like after all their free agency moves, this is his make it or break it season. If he's not the guy, he's gone after this year. They've put enough tools around him to where he should be the guy and he should succeed. He has all the physical gifts in the world. I mean, if you look at the statistics, he has, I think, one of the top 5 highest passing grades downfield, highest accuracy, highest passer rating. And, it doesn't nearly get shown enough. Now, Pro Football Focus has done a great job of eliminating the sort of doubt when it comes to Jones's accuracies because he has elite ball placement. He does. And, certain clips you could see if you look up certain throws. There was a fade ball he threw against Washington that was beautiful. He threw a seam route to Evan Ingram against the Bengals that was absolutely flawless. He also threw a different sort of wheel seam route to Evan Ingram that he ended up dropping and losing them the division basically when they played Philly the first time, which would have sealed the game. And, he has done great things. However, the turnovers, they got better last year, but they're still not good enough. He had fumbled 11 times last year. In the previous season, he fumbled 21. Now, that's a 10 fumble reduction. Could we get 10 more fumble reduction? I don't know. If he could fumble 5 or less times this year, that would be great. The interceptions, he threw about 10 interceptions this year. He threw, I think, 14 his first year or 12 his first year. I think the most important thing for him is now that he has these weapons, don't be afraid to be aggressive. I know interceptions are because you're being aggressive or you're being dumb, but he had a couple this year on balls that were hit off Evan Ingram's hands, I think 3. He had 2 when his arm was getting hit while he's throwing. But the most important thing for Daniel Jones is to recognize the rush. He needs to feel pressure better, and he does a porous job of that. So we will see how he fares in this upcoming season. If the Giants are good, it's because Jones did his job. If they're bad, it's because Jones has not done his job, and this will be the make-or-break season for Daniel Jones. So let's go into the free agency signings. Well, first of all, there's going to be fans in the stands. Number one, it's super exciting that we're finally going to get fans back in the stands. It should be a lot of fun to watch. And, the crowd noise, you got to get that home field advantage back. When the Giants are usually good, it's because they have a great home field advantage. So hopefully you guys can all get out to the stadium if you want to and catch some games this year. So the first free agency signing we're going to go over is not actually a free agency signing. It's Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley being back does a lot for Daniel Jones. First of all, Saquon Barkley, I think Daniel Jones' passer rating is about around a 120 when Barkley's on the field and about a 79 when he's off the field. It does a major difference. And, last year, as much as we all love the Wayne train, the Wayne Gallman, the Wayne train, the problem is when you have a guy like Barkley, it keeps the box loaded. Now, Jones, first of all, can never go over the top because the teams ran 2 high safeties more often than not and just said, we don't even think you could beat us in the run game. And that was a big problem for the Giants last year on offense. And their offense is extremely conservative, and we're going to get into that and why I think the Giants are limited and they have a ceiling that I don't know if they'll be able to break through. Jason Garrett last year did a pretty terrible job on offense, frankly put. it seemed like if you watch the film and do film breakthroughs, he had probably he plays. Someone put it to me perfect. He plays and calls plays for 10 yards. Like, he calls 3 plays for 10 yards. He doesn't call plays that might get him chunks or to score. He does about 2 shot plays per game, and which don't usually work because the Giants don't have the weapons to work with them. And, he just does a porous job as the offensive coordinator, and I don't think the Giants did a very good job this offseason, and they brought him back. I don't think that was a good idea. I also do not like the idea that Daniel Jones is now still under this conservative system. The system's way too conservative. You saw what Dak Prescott did 5 games away from Garrett last year. So, unfortunately, that's how it is. I hope Freddie Kitchens can get more of his hands on the offense because we saw in the one game Freddie Kitchens was coordinator. They did a more aggressive job in the passing game, so I hope that stands. But Saquon's health is really important. I think that's why I think the signing of Devontae Booker was important. I did not like the signing, but I think it was important to know that Booker is a good pass blocker. He's an average pass blocker. Barkley's not good at that. He can He can run the ball well, and he can catch the ball. That's the difference with Gallman. Gallman could not catch the ball. So that is something really important to know about Booker. Okay, and Booker is a guy who likes to run downhill at times, and he could be very effective while doing it. So the first signing is obviously the most important signing, in my opinion, is Kenny Golladay. Kenny Golladay, 2020, had a bit of a rough year. He started off with a hamstring pull, and then he hurt his hip, and he really never got off, and he only played about 6 games. It was unfortunate for him during the season, but Kenny Golladay is a good ball player. He has the highest rated contested catch grade in the NFL, tied with Michael Thomas since he entered the league with a 92.7. Kenny Golladay also received about 65 balls for 1,190 yards, I want to say, in 2019 with 11 touchdowns. He led the league in touchdowns. His contested ball catches, some of the most entertaining football to watch. You watch Lions games past a few years, you see Stafford throwing up balls where Golladay has no business coming down with them, and he does. He's very good at contested catches, and I think that's something the Giants are missing out on, a tall, contested catch guy. Certainly we're not getting that with Ingram. You were not getting that with Shepard. He's a slot receiver. Slayton turned into a ghost late in the year. Pretty much the whole year Slayton was a ghost, and Tate was just not on the field. So that, I think, Golladay brings them a lot of... You feel good about Golladay. You feel good about what he could bring to the offense. Next, we have Kyle Rudolph. Kyle Rudolph is a great signing. I actually love this signing because they give the Giants that big, short-handed tight end who's a red zone threat, but most importantly, short-handed, and he's also a good run blocker. Kyle Rudolph is a great signing, and I cannot stress enough how these guys all have very small cap hits this year, and the Giants did a very good job. Next is Adoree Jackson. Adoree Jackson was a nice signing, in my opinion. It's less about the money and more about the talent with Adoree Jackson. I think Adoree is one of the faster corners in the NFL. And paired alongside James Bradbury, it seems like Patrick Graham and the defense can do more of what they want to do. Last year, if you're familiar, the Giants week 1 started off doing a lot of man coverage, and they were getting absolutely just hammered. Outside of James Bradbury, they were getting beat and beat bad. So I think that's what they wanted to do. They ended up switching to a zone team, but with Adoree Jackson, it lets you be a zone and man team that you can mix. Last year, they literally could not play man. Adoree Jackson also has the 4th highest outside coverage grade in the NFL since 2018, and he's a solid player, and we'll see what his impact could be this season. So now their schedule. I'm going to go over their schedule. I'm going to go over what I think happens, where they win, where they lose. So I'm going to go over this pretty quick. So first, Atlanta depends. If Atlanta goes quarterback, like many suspect, I expect this to be a win. If they go Kyle Pitts, they go one of the receivers, that may change, but that's what I have for Atlanta. Another win for Carolina. Carolina still has nothing going on with Teddy Bridgewater and the quarterback. They've not done a good job at quarterback, and really since Cam Newton's MVP season, the quarterback play in Carolina has been quite porous. The next is the Raiders. I'm going to go win here, just because I don't really like what the Raiders did this offseason. We're going to get into that when I do a Raiders video. It's going to be a while, but the thing with the Raiders is the Raiders have this sort of... They got rid of 3 of their 5 linemen and then signed another running back. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Yeah, no. Denver should be bad again. I don't think Denver is good. Simply put, I don't think Drew Lock is a good quarterback. He makes a lot of errant throws. He forces the ball, is afraid to check the ball down. He doesn't have great vision. I really don't like Drew Lock. I don't think he reads the field very well. Yeah, that's my thing. The Rams. Giants are probably going to get smoked by the Rams. I think the Rams might be one of the best teams in the league this year. That's why that division they're in is so difficult to predict. The Rams just got Stafford, and now they have Stafford. They have Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods. They have the two running backs in the backfield. They got Henderson and they got Cam Akers. They have a bit of speed and a bit of power back there. They should be good. They should be good, and they may be the best team in the NFC this year. The Dallas Cowboys, they should beat the Cowboys. I have them mostly doing 1-1s with the division opponents. They should take one of these two games. I'll give them the home game because, of course, home field advantage. If they're going to win one, it probably would be at home. Dallas is a very high-flying shooting offense. I want to see what their defense is before I anoint them king. I do think, a little bold here, I do think Dallas might be better than Washington next year, and they might be better than the Giants next year. They did some nice work of free agency picking up Keanu Neal, and we'll get more into Dallas's in-depth analysis when we get to their video. Philly, I'm going to give a win here. Philly's a dumpster fire. They continue to be a dumpster fire. I mean, last year was just a disaster for them, and they have not gotten better. In fact, they've gotten worse. Washington, I feel like this year is the first year in 3 that Washington wins a game against the Giants, but I'm going to give them the win at home. Next is Kansas City. Kansas City's going to be a loss. You're not beating Kansas City. I just don't think there's a chance. Next is the Chargers. The Chargers are not a very good team. They're not a bad team, but they're not a very good team. I don't know. I'm just not too excited about what the Chargers got going on. I'm not. Next is the Bucks. Bucks are going to be a loss. The Bucks are going to be a loss. They're the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They just replenished. Now, if the Giants could play like they did against them last year with these weapons, I think they could beat the Bucks. But I'm going to say no. Bucks are a more talented team. The Saints, I'm also going to say no. Surprisingly, as much as I want to say the quarterback situation is not good, I think they have a quarterback situation I'm not too turned away from. I mean, I think somebody put it this way. I think it was Craig Carton put it this way on WFAN. I think he said, I don't know if it's Craig Carton. Anyway, somebody on NFL Network. I think they said that Taysom Hill is like the McRib. It's really cool once in a while, but eventually you're going to get sick of it, and that's why it's only limited time. And I think that's really true. I think Jameis is going to take that job, and I think he's going to run with it and have a great year. Chicago is going to be a win. I tell you, Chicago is so bad. I mean, they had probably one of the worst off seasons I've seen in years. Terrible job. Next is Dallas. Like I said, I'm gonna give 1-1s. I'm gonna give Dallas a win in Dallas versus the Giants. I think Dallas is gonna be a really good team this year, so you really should watch out for them. Philly, I'm gonna give another win. Philly is a dumpster fire. They are. They're bad. Philly is bad. Plain, simple, put. Philly's bad. And Washington's going to be an L. I don't think the Giants will beat Washington. I don't think they're going to beat them 2 games in a row this time. So I have the Giants going 10-6. 10-6 is not terrible. They were 6-10 last year, 10-6 now. That would be great. If it comes to week 17 and they have to play, and they get a game 17 and they have to play the Dolphins, I don't know if they'd win that game. I don't. The Miami might be very good. It all depends on Tua Tagovailoa, but we will see. So that is it for this first preview. Thank you for watching. Sub to the channel, like the video. I know I'm a Giants fan, but I tried to be pretty unbiased here. I'm going to do it in this order. Next is going to be Washington, then Dallas, then Philadelphia, and then I'm going to do the AFC East. Thank you, guys. And again, sub to the channel, like the vid, sub to the channel.